We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more. Have your hands. Get some more. Just get some more.
Welcome back to My Whiskey Den. Thank you again for stopping in to your favorite public access whiskey review show with Mike, Ben, and myself, where craft whiskey is king. And it's weird that we're discussing that today because we're not having craft whiskey. It's a little bit weird.
Well, kinda.
Kind of. It kind of is like craft whiskey. But before we go too much further, Mike, what do we want to tell the good folks?
It is craft whiskey, specifically also made for a craft whiskey distilling convention.
I was on the wrong screen. I wanted to tell people to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and join us on every Monday when we have an Evening with series where we talk to somebody from the distillery or that's in the industry so we can learn a little bit more and make everyone a little bit more knowledgeable about the craft whiskey scene. So today we are going to be looking at a Maker's Mark selection, but we're looking at a private selection that was made for Distill America, which you have heard Mike and I. Oh, there's a lovely glass that somehow someone walked home with. It is something that our good friend Fred Swanson, who's been on the show several times, has helped to create. It's a wonderful festival, and the people putting it on, along with one or two other people, obviously one of the stores selling it, came together, went down to, I don't think they went down to Kentucky because this was COVID-ish. I think they got them sent to them and got to choose what they wanted to do and discuss it. But on this one, you get to pick the staves that you get in your finishing barrel. So on this one, the stave profile that they decided to end on is the 1 baked American pure stave, 2 seared French.
A baked American.
Baked. I didn't think of it that way. So 2 seared French, two Maker's Mark 46s, 2 roasted French Mochas, and 3 toasted French spice staves. Yes, Ben, finish your comment now.
Yeah, man.
This one comes in at 55.85% alcohol
with a box of ho-hos.
And it was bottled on January 2020. It is bottled 223 of 240. So not very many out there. This is another one where if it's good, too bad people watching the show. But it's also one I thought that since we enjoy Distill America so much that we'd want to try this. I don't think they'd pick something that wasn't unique or had a little extra punch. So now that I have taken up the first 4 minutes, let's see what Mike and Ben have to say.
Classic Makers on the nose. There's the cherry, there's the bread, but it's richer, it's deeper.
Yeah.
There's some dark chocolate notes in there. Maybe like a chocolate cherry cordial.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're familiar with the Maker's 43, it's along that same vein, but there's a little more going on here.
This is not the standard Maker's Mark release.
Yeah.
By any means. And I will say, full disclosure, I am a Maker's Mark ambassador, actually an ambassador for life. Highly recommend you do the program, even though we talk about craft whiskey. But standard Makers is my least favorite Makers out of all the lines. And they've been doing these private barrels selections, and what people are coming up with, all the stuff that I've had, except for one. I had one that was like, it was all right.
Yeah.
But almost every other one that I've had have been just really, really good.
Yeah, I've got a local store pick here, and that one's been fantastic.
Okay, I'm also getting apples. But besides what Ben had mentioned, I'm also sneaking some apples out of this as well, too. But like a red apple, not like the green apples. Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know. This is like screaming rich classic bourbon to me. Like it's not like a classic. I don't think it as rich as this, but I think this just has on the nose. It's full-bodied.
In a blind, I don't think somebody would say, "Oh, this is Makers" necessarily. And there's more vanilla than like standard Makers, I should say. But there's way more vanilla to it. But yeah, and more cherry and more chocolate. But
And that vanilla is intense. I mean, it's
it
like
is.
really
Yeah.
good, pure
Yes.
vanilla extract.
Yeah, made with Everclear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here.
Yeah, it is a potent vanilla. Oh, that's nice.
It's a different change from what we have been drinking, which was
Yeah.
high rye finished port and then an American single malt. And this afterwards is a different beast altogether.
This is a bourbon. Would say it was 55 point what percent?
55.85. So almost 56%.
This is like cherry preserves slathered over bread with vanilla icing.
I like how you added the vanilla because I found that like right away.
Yeah.
That was very prominent in this, is that the vanilla was up front and then it's kind of faded like the icing flavor, but I was getting it pretty big right away. I like how there's like a swallow and there's like this just enough of like a heat bite on the sides of my tongues to remind me that I was drinking whiskey, but not enough to make me care. Like I'm willing to go back without a problem and taste it, but it does have a little bit of a bite to it,
Right.
a little burn.
But not the same bite that definitely not the same bite as a standard Makers, and definitely
No.
not the other bite that you get from Makers 46.
Yeah.
No.
It's different. It's not the harshness. It doesn't feel like something's grabbing your tongue. And you
Sorry,
said
bud.
there's 3 different French staves in there?
There
Two.
is 2 Frenches, seared French and roasted French mocha.
Yeah. See, and I was about to
Oh wait, I lied. Toasted French spice is another one. There's 3.
amend that because it's take the French preserves over bread with heavy vanilla icing, take a bite of that, and then wash it down with a nice espresso.
Yeah,
Dark roast espresso, and that's what I'm, because you get that fruit and that bread and the vanilla and sugar all there, and then all of a sudden the French oak kicks in, and you get this kind of a creamy coffee note that comes in, and
it goes from like sugary sweet to like this, like a coffee where you almost have like a little bit of creamer in it.
mm-hmm.
This is what I'm kind of equating
Americano or a latte, something along that lines.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Yep.
I just like how there's still a little bit of heat afterwards. It's I don't know. A lot of them now haven't had. There's a lot of them that make me haven't felt like I'm drinking a whiskey lately. You know, like it doesn't have a little burn. This at least has a little burn at the end where it's like, oh, you know, you had it. And I do. I'm starting to get to the I want to go back for more thing going on just because my tongue is drying out. Like I'm starting to be like, let's hit this 5-6 times and just see where this goes.
That finish hits you with a nice. You're picking up on some of the barrel, some of the oak, and there's a nice tobacco note in there.
I find this
sour apple
too, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am not the biggest normal Makers fan. Like I can understand why some people are. I never really have been. I could drink this quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's a mini adventure. It's not a big adventure. It's this nice little adventure, but the tail end is sticking around on my tongue forever right now.
Yeah.
I'd love to try this in an old fashioned.
Ooh. It has the body to stand up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and I'm the same with you. I'm not the best. Standard Makers is not my favorite. I love their cast strength, the Makers cast strength. It's a big, just cinnamon bomb. But and the 46 is really nice. But the private barrel that I have here, I've absolutely enjoyed that. That was a go-to bourbon through the fall and winter this year for me. And this one, I can tell it's in that kind of same family, and it's just it's really good.
Yeah.
It's gonna make you happy drinking it, and with the heat on this, I like you were saying like fall winter bourbon, because like that's when you like want to have it come in from snow blowing and have a drink and warm and just have that little bit of warm up as you're enjoying something and kind of get unfrozen.
All the flavors and like you said, it gives you just enough heat and enough punch to really let you know it's there, and it's perfect for that kind of weather.
So that's pretty damn good, Fred. You guys did an awesome job. Everyone on the pick down there, for finding something a little unique. And I couldn't imagine arguing over the staves, and with other people and trying to discuss how you want something to come out. I don't know how that went with them, but I could see that becoming like a mini issue where all of a sudden you have to take like a lunch break and come back to Maker's Mark and have the second talk about it, because it's just as interesting how you could really torque and twist it even just on an ending, like just with like with we were Broken Barrel where you throw a couple staves in, you're kind of doing something vaguely similar here. You're just picking unique stuff that you're trying to make. And I'm surprised how much of an extra impact and layering these staves have.
Yeah.
Compared to just the normal one. Like, this is, I don't know how long they keep it in the second one, but it is a significant, bump up in flavor. Even if it's only a year, a couple months, or however long it's in that in particular barrel, it bumps up the flavor significantly for them.
Yeah.
But you can tell well they're managing this too, because all the flavors are really integrated. They're layered in real nicely. It's not fighting. It's not fighting with each other. They're managing it really well. Yeah,
and it is almost like doing a craft within the large distillery, and they're. I have to say, I appreciate makers doing this. There's a lot of people that I know that just dump on them. I don't have a problem with makers at all. Like I said, the standard makers, it's my least favorite. Doesn't mean I don't like it. But I really like what people are doing with this, and this also isn't a case. I mean, all these ones that these people do the picks of, and even the two releases that Makers has put out have been $55 or $60. So it's not this, and it's not some allocated BS like let's say another distillery has where you've made your own bourbon, and and it's allocated all to hell, and then people are paying $200-$300 for a bottle of it.
Yeah.
And there's no way that's better than this. There's no way.
I mean, the closest thing.
Sorry, the RC6 was not that expensive.
Nope.
No, I think maybe $60, 70 or under in most places.
Yeah.
So fairly reasonable for trying something that
a cask strength.
That you're doing something unique, and like you said, that's what they're doing here. This is the part where they're trying to do something niche-y or crafty. Like Jameson's like. The distiller's line, or whatever, the master's line, whatever it is. That's where they have the really unique stuff.
Yeah.
And I think go ahead. Sorry, Ben.
I was just going to say that RC6, I think, is about the closest thing they've had to like some type of, really hot bottle people were trying to get their hands on. And they've got a new release that's similar to that coming out. Yeah, I think it's right out now or very soon, or it's out.
Yeah.
If you can't get that, then get one of these distillers picks like this that you can one of these private label bottles, because very similar. They're everywhere. A lot of stores are doing these, and they're single barrel picks, and they're it's like Mike said. I haven't had one. You said you had maybe one you weren't too a fan of.
I had one, and it was basically just a cask strength Maker's 46. The same store had two picks, and the guy even said, well, this one's better than the other one, but they were out of the one. And I thought, well, I'll try it. I mean, but I got a sample the other one, and the other one was, I don't know how many staves they put in. Man, it was fantastic. The other one, it was good, but it wasn't, it wasn't like this,
Didn't blow your doors off.
No, it didn't make me want to buy it,
Yeah. The few I've had have been absolutely outstanding. So it's worth a shot.
It off.
Yeah.
We will see you guys next week. Thank you for stopping in. And everyone, remember, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of the whiskey in the glass. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Just give some more.